Hey everybody, good morning. Grandpa's Cabin Life on Instagram and YouTube. A little something different today. I should have did a video of this, but I did not. But I am going to walk you through creating your own Euro mount. It's fairly simple. It's much cheaper than getting a shoulder mount at the taxidermist or even bringing the skull to the taxidermist to have them create for you a Euro mount. Process very simple. This was the buck that I shot just towards the end of archery season. That's the first picture. Basically, what you do is quite simple, right? You're going to separate the head from the rest of the body. You're going to cut it at the neck. You're then just going to skin out the skull, which is that next photograph. And it does look a little graphic, but it skins just the way the rest of the deer does. You want to also get as much of the meat off as you can. In this case, you're looking at this particular picture. I hadn't taken the eyes out yet. Those have to go out. The brain I don't worry too much about because that is going to get taken care of in the next step. So again, you're going to skin out the skull. You are going to shave off with a knife as much of the meat as you can. And then what you're going to do is the next step is you're going to get a large pot, boiling water. You are going to place the skull in that pot and boil it for approximately 3 to 4 hours. I used an outside propane burner that I typically use to process my maple sap when I'm making maple syrup, but did the job just fine for this. So you just pop the skull in, make sure it stays covered with water. The idea is that you want to basically cook this and boil it so that any remaining flesh will come right off. Also, what will happen is the brain will get liquefied and it will be easy to remove from the opening in the skull. And again, once you've boiled it for, I would say 4 hours is usually sufficient. Take it off, let it cool. There will be some additional meat that will be on there that you will need to scrape off with your knife. The bottom jaws will come off. They are attached by connective tissue. You can make the decision whether you actually want to glue those back on your Euro mount or leave them off. I typically leave them off, although with this buck, I did save both of the jaws. What I would recommend doing is if you are going to mount it with the lower jaws on, it's a good idea once it dries out to put a bead of clear crazy glue or some other type of adhesive along the tooth line where the teeth go into the jawbone. The reason for this is as this dries out, there will be a degree of shrinkage. And what I typically find is that the teeth will start to get loose and potentially come out. So good idea just once everything is dried to put a little bit of clear glue that you're not going to see to the eye when you do have it on your Euro mount. But will definitely help keep those teeth in and prevent you having them falling out later in the process. So basically, once you have all the meat taken off the skull, usually I will take a little screwdriver or a narrow blade, and I will make sure that all the brain contents are out. The tongue will have to come out. And then typically, once I just have the skull with all the meat removed, what I will do is I will one of two things. I will either spray the skull down liberally with Clorox bleach spray in the cranial cavity where the brain was, in all where the nasal passages are, because you can see that all that cartilage cooks off, so you have the open nasal cavities. The other option is, and what I've done is I've taken just regular bleach, put it in cold water, and submerged the skull itself into that water and let it sit for about a half hour, 45 minutes. Serves a couple purposes. It kind of disinfects, kills whatever bacteria or whatnot might be on the skull. It also does help bleach out the bone of the skull and make it a little bit more white and give it a little bit more pop. I've seen people paint their skulls white, which I'm not a huge fan of. There are a couple of commercial products that you can spray your Euro mount with to make it a little bit brighter, which I suspect are probably just bleach based. So you can really do it yourself without having to expend the money. And then once all that is done, you've soaked it in bleach, you rinse it off with cold water and just set it aside, let it dry for a week or so. And once that is done, basically you all are ready to take that mount and do whatever it is you would like. There are a number of commercial products that you can use to hang a Euro mount on. In my case, I had a buddy of mine who is a woodworking genius, and he made me up the cross cut of walnut that my Euro mount is currently on. But you can mount it straight on the wall with a nail. There are commercial hangers that are made for Euro mounts, whatever it is you want to do with it. But process start to finish, couple of hours worth of time as opposed to what it would cost if you dropped it at a taxidermist to do the very same work is definitely a little bit more rewarding because you did it yourself. And again, it's a super easy process. Really, once you've done it, you can do it moving forward. It's super easy. But again, the steps are skin out the skull, remove as much excess tissue from the skull as you can, boil it for 3 to 4 hours, scrape off all the excess meat or flesh and let it dry out. Give it a quick either soak in bleach or spray it down with bleach spray. Let it set aside and dry for a couple of weeks, and then it is all set for you to mount. So, yeah, would it have been more helpful if I actually videoed the process as opposed to doing the overlaying still photos with the narrative in the background? Yeah. Next year, if I get lucky and I get another buck, I will actually video the process and post that. But unfortunately, for right now, this is going to have to do. So hopefully it was helpful. If you have any questions, you can certainly shoot me a message in the comments. And hope you have a great winter. You're getting out there doing whatever it is you like to do, whether it's hiking, skiing, ice fishing, whatever. Just get outside. Don't stay home. Don't sit inside. Get active. All right, Grandpa's Cabin Life, Instagram and YouTube. Also, feel free to check out my book on Amazon, A Cabin in 40 Acres, which walks you through the process of finding recreational property and what to do with it once you find it. So again, Grandpa's Cabin Life. Hope you're having a great day. Everybody take care. Bye.